What's good? How y'all doing this evening? Welcome back to the Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. It's your boy, the greatest Don to ever live. I got my crew with Georgia Sports Hospitality Media. I got DaVonte. What's good, man?
Yo, what's good with you, Don?
Hey, man. Blessed for Sunday, man. I'm having a blast, man. Thank you for coming on. Also, we got TJ Burner. What's good, man?
What's going on, Don? How y'all doing tonight?
Hey man, we doing good. Everybody ain't familiar with you doing Hawks, but you want to get your hands in some Falcons content, man.
Yeah,
And, I
man.
said, hey, come on the show, man. Come on. Thank you for coming on, man. Also, we got one of Falcons Twitter's. I call him a vigilante. I'll be ready. What's good, man?
Doing great. How are you? Let me at
Hey,
least
man.
put my Twitter handle down real quick.
What'd you say?
I forgot to put my Twitter handle down.
Oh, you want everybody to know who you are? Everybody know who you are, man.
I just got to make sure I don't get back to 283 followers again because it's not a good number.
Hey man, if you at 283, man, somebody need to hurry to follow you, man. So anyway, and then we got Matt Karoly on, man. What's good, man?
Not much, man. It's always good to be on with you guys. Looking forward to talking some Falcons tonight.
Hey, we talking Falcons. We talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So everybody know how I roll. I don't sit here and I don't, beat around the bush. I'm gonna tell everybody how it is. They don't like it, you know what they can do. So appreciate y'all coming on. Everybody who watching this live, appreciate y'all joining us in the chat. Say hello. What's good, ATM man? Say the Don is back. Hey, you know I'm back, baby. Ghost Peppers was good. Atlanta Nation, Jack Savage, how y'all doing, man? Hey, anybody watching this? If you're new to the channel, y'all already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this content out with Atlanta Sports Fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section. As always, come holler at your hometown sports podcast. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get into the business behind Atlanta sports this week. The Atlanta Empire, they don't call it the Lingerie Football League anymore. It's called the X League now. Their season will start next month. All right. Be on the lookout. Georgia Sports Hospitality Media, we're probably going to be end up covering some of their games. So be on the lookout for that. Georgia Southern, they had their pro day this past Thursday, and linebacker Rashad Bird, long snapper Ryan Lagan, and defensive end Raymond Johnson III all went through drills and worked out, hoping to become the next Georgia Southern Eagle drafted in the NFL. So shouts out to Georgia Southern down there at Statesboro. Hopefully they can get some more players drafted. College basketball, unfortunately for the girls this week, didn't look good. UGA on Monday, the Lady Bulldogs, they played Drexel. They won that game 67-53. Wednesday, they lost against Oregon 57-50. So they tournament journey ended them. But shouts out to the Lady Bulldogs. Also shouts out to the Lady Jackets, Yellow Jackets. They played Tuesday against West Virginia. They won that game 73-56, and then today they lost against South Carolina. And both of those squads, really, I didn't think they was gonna go this far, but congratulations to those ladies, both Georgia Tech and UGA. I know we got an in-state rivalry between those schools, but hey, Atlanta sports, Georgia sports, we pretty much support every team in the state, so. We're proud of them. Hopefully, we see them next year winning all. College baseball, Georgia Southern. This past Tuesday, they played against Clemson. They lost that game 6-4. Friday, they played against App State. They won that game 3-1. Yesterday, they played App State again, and they won that game 10-2. UGA, the Bulldogs, they played Tuesday against Kennesaw State. They won that game 3-2. They played Friday against Texas A&M. They won that. Well, they lost that game 6-3. Yesterday, they also lost against Texas A&M 7-6. Georgia State, the Panthers, they played Mercer on Tuesday and they lost 5-3. They played Kennesaw State on Friday. They lost to them 5-1. And then they lost to Kennesaw State again on yesterday, 7-4. So Georgia State baseball team is just having a bad season. I don't know what's going on with them.
It's my alma mater.
Man, why you say that? Anyway, but Georgia Tech, they played this past Friday against Duke. They won that game 5-2, and then they played yesterday against Duke. They won the game 3-0. Braves baseball next week, you guys. Season opener. I hope y'all ready. So right now, this past week, for the spring training games, the Braves lost against the Twins on the 22nd, 4-2. On the 23rd, they played against the Red Sox. They lost that game 7-6. On the 24th, they lost against the Pirates 6-3. On the 25th, they won against the Rays 5-2. On the 26th, they won against the Twins 7-6. And then yesterday, they played against the Orioles and they won that game 8-5. News: Pablo Sandoval, Aaron and Andrade, and Nate Jones are making their opening day. They made the opening day roster. Alice Jackson would be the team's backup catcher. The team also released Jake Lamb, and the team will go a 4-man bench to start the season. Also, I heard some news about Johan Camargo. He's going to be, I guess, sent to an alternate route. We don't know if it's Mississippi or Gwinnett, but things are just not looking good for him. This is like every season he gets sent. In the beginning of the season, he gets sent down to spring. Every season he gets sent to either Gwinnett or Mississippi. I don't know what's going on with him at this point. You know, his players is outshining him. My situation, my take on this is, might as well just get rid of the man and have you another utility player come in and do the job. So, Atlanta United, they played this past Wednesday. They played a two-way scrimmage against Chattanooga FC. They won both of them. The first match was they won 2-1, and then the other match they was 1-1, but the victory went to Atlanta United. Today they played against Birmingham Legion. I got to look at the score for that. Atlanta United also put out a news saying that they will sell limited tickets on April 13th for the Champions League game against Alajuelense. Look, these Latin words and Mexican words, Spanish words I cannot pronounce. I'm not good, so I apologize if I'm butchering it, you guys. Also, Atlanta United, coach Stephen Glass is leaving to manage the team in Aberdeen. So congratulations for the promotion for Stephen Glass. I think he did a good job when he was here last season. He was promoted to the club's manager after we fired Frank DeBoer. So congratulations to Coach Glass. All right. What did the Falcons do, DaVonte?
Falcons made a couple of signings. They made in specific 3. They signed linebacker Barkevius Mingo, and I have to preface this by saying that he's not going to come here and be a sack artist. He's not going to outdo Fowler or anybody else. He's one of those guys that one of those tech pieces is going to be very good in the rotation, So, and to this point in his career, he's had a very up and down career, but I do think he can provide some solid rotational pressure, and he can give you a couple of sacks, kind of similar to what Charles Harris did last season. Then they also signed former Panther Mike Davis. Mike Davis, everybody should know, since we are a rival of the Panthers, he's one of those guys that can be a wrecking ball for the opposing defense, which the Falcons, who didn't have the best defense, so that's exactly what he was doing, wrecking our defense. So you see he also finished with the second most forced missed tackles. So he's one of those guys that's going to be shifty. So I know why certain fans are like, oh, hopefully he's a depth piece, hopefully he's rotational, we're going to draft a rookie. Like, you're not going to bring Mike Davis in on a 2-year deal and have him, as a depth piece. I think he's going to be one of those bridge gap starters. Then they might bring in a fourth guy. I'm probably thinking they're going to bring in a guy in like the fifth, sixth round to be like the fourth running back. But Mike Davis is. You can go ahead and pencil Mike Davis in as your starter for a running back.
Yeah, I say he's a highly insurance policy player. That's my take on it. Just in case, say for instance, we don't get our running back in the draft. All right, he's there. You can start him. So,
and finishing up the signings, we signed Fabian Moreau. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but we're gonna call him Fabian Moreau for now. From former Washington football team member. He's one of those guys that might be a diamond in the rough. I know certain people already label him as a depth class special teams piece, but I'm not sure, especially when there was a report saying that he came to the Falcons specifically because for the opportunity to actually play some defensive snaps. Because when he did get defensive snaps, he finished, I think, with a couple of interceptions, some tackles. Like, he did very well when he was tasked with being that slot corner. And I think he has the ability to play outside and slot. So I think bringing him on that one-year deal just tells you the players that Terry Fontenot is bringing in are hungry. The players, like, you just listening to them, everybody has the same mindset, such as Brandon Copeland, who signed like weeks ago. He said, I don't even want to introduce myself. I'm going to introduce myself week one.
Exactly. Come in here and work. But here's the thing about Fabian, and this is why I love Fabian. I watched tape on him past few days. This man is like, he has that hustle mentality that we need here in Atlanta. He's not coming here entitled like I'm gonna start regardless. This man, he wants to be the best. He wants to play. He wants to give the team production. And this is the type of players we need here in Atlanta.
Yeah, I think just to add to the contract element to it, they gave him a 1-year deal, and it was for the veteran minimum salary benefit, which means he's going to have a cap hit of a 2-year player in the league, which is $850,000, plus his signing bonus. So add the two together, he's a little under $1 million. So it's not a player that's locked into a starting role, or for that matter, even a role on the team. But I think, kind of like with Mike Davis, it is an insurance policy if they don't target a cornerback highly in the draft. Fabian Moreau is a guy that put him on the boundary. He can be a nice player for you, under the radar signing for you. Where you don't want to play him is in the slot. But fortunately for Atlanta, Isaiah Oliver, he kind of carved out a role there when they moved him to nickel later in the season. I think this signing for Moreau, you're connecting the dots a little bit. I think potentially this new staff also sees that Oliver is best suited to play inside, to play as a hybrid safety nickelback type role, and keep Moreau on the outside, because they were going to have to add a boundary corner regardless. And again, because really it's just AJ Terrell and nothing behind him. I think even Kendall Sheffield probably needs to stick in the slot. And I don't even know what his long-term future is. He might just be a special team and use his speed on special teams. But with Moreau, again, good value, and potentially, could be, a big boom to the secondary out wide if they don't, target cornerback high in the draft. It could be Moreau and Terrell as the starters.
Matt, can you expand on what you think about Isaiah Oliver? I know most of the fans are saying, "Oh, we should cut Oliver. We should just cut." It doesn't make sense to cut someone on their rookie deal, in my opinion, especially who showed improvement, especially when he got moved into the slot. I don't think the fans actually watched that part of the game. And I know on the outside he didn't do too well, but on the inside, he certainly carved himself into a role for the team.
Yeah, the only reason it might make sense to part ways with Oliver is because he is going to see a bump in salary this year. It's called the proven performance escalator. And in a rookie's fourth year, depending on the amount of snaps that they play in their first 3 years, they're eligible for a bump in pay in their fourth year, which Oliver qualified for. So his cap hit's going to be $2.5 million. If they did move on from him, they could save roughly $2 million. So that's why, again, if they really have to trim some fat some more, to sign your draft class or to make other moves in other positions. That's why I've thrown around Oliver's name as kind of a under the radar one to watch. But if they are going to keep him, as I said, I think he does have a role. He found a home at nickelback, and Falcons really can't afford to move on from cornerbacks right now because they don't really have much.
It's thin, and I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
I like Hope, the DB coach we brought in. I think Isaiah Oliver can thrive in that type of. He's gonna reteach these DBs how to play the position. I just think what we had here, Mike Mallory, the former defensive back coach he had here, he did not teach these guys the skills to play the position.
Yeah,
and then we drafted guys who did not fit the scheme. We drafted a lot of man guys we had to play zone.
Right, and I think the name to throw out there with Oliver is Logan Ryan, a cornerback that Dean Pease knows from the Tennessee days. And I think Isaiah Oliver, if you look at their athletic profile, someone that compares very favorably to Logan Ryan. And when Logan Ryan was moved into the slot and was asked to blitz and do different things rather than just be an outside cornerback, that's really when Logan Ryan's game took off. And maybe the same could be in Isaiah Oliver's future. So I wouldn't give up on him because, again, he did play, much, much better down the stretch at his new position. And, again, I don't necessarily see the Falcons moving on despite the fact that they could save $2 million if they did.
I just want to I would like to see what we can salvage out of Sheffield and Isaiah Oliver before we just write these guys off. Like, let's see if the new regime come in can actually get the best out of these guys.
Well, yeah, I think with a lot of players you can say that for is. I think we're so high on this coaching staff because we believe in them as developers of talent, and I do think there's talent there that the last coaching staff didn't get out of these guys. So Oliver and Sheffield definitely fit that bill.
Right. Matt Garno also signed his second round tender, so he's going to be around for a bit. TJ, what's going on with the Hawks this past week, man?
Hawks had 3 games this week. Monday with the Clippers, we had 110. We lost 110-119. It was a bad game. We got blown out in the third quarter by their bench players. It just didn't look good. Wednesday, we played the Kings 108-110. We couldn't stop De'Aaron Fox if we tried. And Friday, we had a great bounce-back game, 124-108 to the Warriors. JC had a career-high night with 38 points. In the news, Rajon Rondo was traded for Lou Will for 2 second-round picks and cash. DeAndre Hunter has come back from injury, but his knee is still sore, so he hasn't been playing a lot. He came back. He's on minute restrictions, but I think he probably won't. I don't know if he's going to play the rest of the year. There's a report saying he won't, out of just making sure he's healthy. And Lou Will is expected to play his first game versus the Suns, but he hasn't reported to the team yet, so we don't know the exact timeline for him. We're 6th in the East right now. If we win tonight, we will be 5th, and our record is 23-22.
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys. Hit the wrong button.
You good. All right. So let's go ahead and address what happened today. Deion Jones was restructured. I kind of saw this mile away, but I thought that hopefully by the end of this week, they was going to do something with Deion Jones' contract. It's like, as you see the pattern now, we seeing that these restructured deals have been going on like it's either every week or every other week. So it was like kind of overdue for another player to get restructured so they can free up some money in the cap. And I said the next person that's pretty much on that list has to be Deion Jones. It's his contract. If you look at him and Grady Jarrett, Grady's contract is pretty much is more than Deion's getting paid. And you can also have a better debate and kind of negotiate Deion Jones' contract over Grady Jarrett's. So this is why Deion got restructured. over Grady Jarrett, a guy like Grady Jarrett and a guy like Julio Jones. What's your take on this, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. This was kind of a foregone conclusion. Seeing how close they were pressed up against the cap. Prior to doing this, they had like $200 and some $1,000 in cap space left. So they were going to have to make a move regardless, whether it was now or a little bit down the road to sign the draft class, to make any more moves, to have your nest egg for the emergency fund for the season. They had to do something. Wasn't sure if it was going to be Grady Jarrett, going to be Julio Jones. I think Julio Jones is kind of that last resort as you get further into the off season. But what they did with Deion Jones was kind of the most interesting, because they didn't just do a regular restructure like the Falcons did earlier with Jake Matthews or Matt Ryan. What they did was they took $4 million of Deion Jones' base salary and said, well, Deion, we need this $4 million for cap space this year. So instead, we're going to pay this out to you next year in a roster bonus in early March. And then in addition, for you agreeing to do this, your 2022 base salary of over $9 million, that's going to be fully guaranteed now. So they locked Deion Jones in for the next 2 seasons, which, there was a lot of debate whether, maybe they would move on from Deion after the season and, extend Foy Oluokun and maybe, draft a linebacker. Now, linebacker doesn't seem like much of a need, or at least it could be something that they push to the back burner, because Deion Jones is officially locked in for 2022. And then 2023, I guess, we'll see how he's playing, if this scheme under Dean Pease rejuvenates him. If so, then maybe they look to kind of, work out another contract extension with Deion Jones to lower, his cap hit, because in 2023 it's going to be like 18 million, I believe, 16 or 18 million, 16.3 to be exact. So again, you might want to lower that in 2023. If he's still playing at a high level. So, that was the interesting part of it. It was how they went about doing this, locked him in for 2 years. So for those that are big fans of Deion Jones, you can get used to seeing him in red and black for 2 more seasons. But necessary space that they needed to make. It probably means no Micah Parsons, which, again, for me, I'm a big fan of, not going in that direction. I don't see it with Micah Parsons. I probably wouldn't have taken him in the first round, even if they traded back. So, this means we're good at linebacker with, Foy, Deion, and Michael Walker. We'll see if they add some depth or a late round guy. But because Deion's locked in for the next 2 years, and, I would expect them to extend Foy regardless of this move. I still think that's very much on the table. But necessary cap space, and we'll see what, as far as what this means for the next couple of weeks. I don't know if it's anything major in the works. Again, they had to get a little bit more breathing room. You're certainly going to see, I think, some more vet min guys. Maybe an offensive lineman. Hopefully another safety, I think, would be nice. But I don't think this means there's a huge splash coming. Just because, again, now that they have $4.2 million in cap space, so still not a lot. And like we talked about, Grady Jarrett, Julio Jones, they have flexibility if they want to create more. I think with Grady Jarrett, it's probably going to be a contract extension, and it's probably going to come after the draft, and that's what's going to be used, to sign the draft class.
Okay. All right. What about you? What's your thoughts on this, Reddy?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually surprised you said Micah Parsons wouldn't be there, but I guess it makes sense after restructure because of the fact that Deion Jones will likely be here in 2023 or through that. I
just don't like Micah as a player. I don't know how you guys feel on him, but I don't see it with him. I think, one, the off the field stuff's scary, and then 2, I don't think he has the instincts right now to play linebacker in the NFL. Maybe he gets there, but right now I don't see that on film.
I don't know too much about the off the field stuff. I mean, I read about it, but as far as like what's true and what's like, never really know, because a lot of this stuff always happens when a player gets in the top 5. And then it would have been really nice to see him and Deion Jones like speed.
Where's the love for Foy though?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's definitely there. I mean, but all four, it's like having.
I mean, speed is good to a degree. You need to have the instincts
It's true.
to play this game. And again, yeah, Micah Parsons tested out of the waters, but again, that's nothing new for Penn State players. You look at Penn State pro days every year. Their guys test well. They just have a great strength and conditioning program, and I don't think this should vault any of those guys up the board. You know, Jason Owa is another one where I think he's going to get talked about, especially for Falcons because they need edge rushers.
Mhm.
He's another one where he's so raw. He's an athlete. I don't think he's a football player right now. And
here's my thing about Parsons. Like Parsons, I get what you're saying, but if you look at the type of linebackers that Dean Pease had and the players he developed, I think Parsons will be fine under a guy like Pease.
Like, I still think he's like comparable to Luke Kuechly. Like,
ooh, I can't get there. No.
Like whenever I saw him, that's what I was seeing.
Yeah. All right.
Jeez, like it's just speed. I mean, it would have been fun to see all four be like a Fast and Furious race to the quarter.
I think they have plenty of speed. I mean, they have 4.4 Foy Olukun. They have 4.4 Deion Jones. Michael Walker ran a 4.6. They have speed there. Linebacker is one of those positions where kind of that's the one strength I think this defense can maybe hang their hat on right now.
Yeah. I mean, Parsons was to me like a nice to have, but it wasn't like my top. I would probably, as much as I wasn't sold on it at first, Kyle Pitts, only because like Hayden Hurst would be gone next year.
That you can get me on board for.
Yeah, and then from there, cornerbacks, I mean, J.C. Horn first, and then Patrick Surtain and Nate. I'm not sure about Farley. Like, I'm good with either Surtain or Farley. But, I mean, cornerback class is nice. And then Sewell, of course, would be great, too.
I love Sewell. We paying that for, man. We need to get
That's
Sewell.
my pick. That's my pick for us. I want to take Sewell.
Go ahead and talk, TJ. Go ahead and talk, TJ.
I'm a lineman, of course, so I'm gonna pick a lineman, and I like our team. I think us having Jake, us having the line that we have, adding him would make us, I think, elite in my part because I think he's a day one starter, like somebody said. He's a day one starter. So if Jake, I don't know if we're gonna keep Jake over his. I don't know if Matt. How long is his contract left with us?
Well, I mean they did the max restructure that they kind of did with Matt Ryan. For Jake.
Okay.
I think Jake's locked in. And I was going to follow up and ask you, I mean, knowing that now, where would you play Sewell at left guard? Do you think that's a transition that he can make?
He's big. I watched his film. He's big and physical. Like, he can play left guard if he wants to. He has finesse.
Yeah.
His finesse size is what makes him a tackle, but he can play guard if he really wants to.
I think he's that good of a talent that you can play him at guard or tackle, and he's going to be a good player at either of those spots. Like I know all the analysts say you're foolish to move him off of tackle, but I think he's that good of a talent that you could put him at guard or tackle and he'll do well. I mean, he came out of high school.
He's so big. It's his size. Like his size, his physicality. I watched him push I think it was Marlon Davidson, who, if he comes in, would be hilarious. He pushed him with one hand.
One hand. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I saw that tape.
Imagine him playing guard and just having to play a D line. Him being able to play tackle and being that physical at tackle makes him able to play guard. If as an old lineman, you can play every position, and he's long enough to where he has finesse and speed. Where he kick step, his technique is perfect. His kick step and his pulls, I understand, but I think him at guard would be amazing.
Just think about this. Him and Lindstrom, both guards. Oh man, our run game, man.
Yeah, imagine both those guys pulling. One play.
So I had this debate on Twitter concerning Sewell because I said, okay, the Falcons could play Sewell at left tackle, move Jake right, and also could possibly just kick McGarry inside. And I know NFL.com project McGarry as more of a guard, but more of the argument on Twitter was, well, if Jake's making left tackle money, it would make no sense to move from right tackle or anything like that. I wanted to know what your thoughts would be on that, Matt, especially talking about the money.
So moving Jake to right tackle, you're asking?
Yeah, I know people were like, "Oh, he's making left tackle money. It doesn't make sense." You know, I had that debate on Twitter recently.
The thing is, right tackles are just as important as left tackles in today's NFL because you're getting oftentimes right tackles are going up against the best pass rushers. That's how it's working these days. So I don't buy that argument with the money aspect. I do think Jake's going to stay at left tackle just because, again, for continuity purposes, it's important on O-line. So to move him around, I don't know if it makes sense. The one thing, and I haven't thrown this out yet, but it's been on my mind as far as who's a guy where on this team that we're not thinking of that maybe this coaching staff decides he's not a fit, we might move on from him. And Caleb McGarry is the name that I've been kind of thinking. Like, again, this is super under the radar. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but perhaps this coaching staff, doesn't value Caleb McGarry highly and thinks that the last coaching staff made the mistake of moving up for him. And if they took Sewell can play right tackle. Did it in high school, was dominant in high school at it, obviously, which led him to Oregon. We saw what the Bucs did with Tristan Wirfs and how taking him just totally changed the way people saw the Bucs O-line. So you move on from McGarry, you cut your losses, you maybe get a 4th round pick from him from some team that did like him, and you draft Sewell and you put Sewell at right tackle next to Lindstrom. That's just as scary as what we were talking about with both of them at guard. Maybe scarier. You have Matthews holding down the fort at left tackle still. Hopefully they like Hennessy. I'm getting nervous with all this center rumors and talk that they're attracted to centers in free agency. I think they need to give him a shot, pun intended, at center. And then, left guard, it looks like it's Matt Gano's job to lose right now, especially with what they're paying him, over $3 million. And I would expect that they would add some competition there at left guard. But that would be just as good of an offensive line if it's Matthews, Gano, Hennessy, Lindstrom, and Sewell.
Well, here's the thing, Matt. Here's the thing, Matt. It don't matter who you have on your O-line. You let you have a quarterback that can escape pressure by running. We need to go with their quarterback.
There you go. Start the conversation. Let's start it.
I actually did like Hennessy's. Hennessy showed promise against.
Well, yeah, I love that pick, and I hope they give him a legit shot at center because I think, especially, he showed a decent amount those last 2 games.
Right.
Going up against some very stiff competition in the Chiefs and the Bucs, held his own for a rookie. It's about all you can expect. So, that offensive line, if that's what they did at 4, sign me up. I'm totally on board with Sewell at 4 if they stay put. Now, again, I think a lot of you would agree too. I hope they call some teams, especially after what the 49ers just did. Hopefully, maybe they can get the Broncos interested. That's the first team that I think makes sense. The Broncos got a pretty decent roster, and I think they're a good quarterback play away from competing in the AFC. They need to bring some competition in for Drew Lock, and I think maybe that's Trey Lance, maybe that's Justin Fields for them. If not them, it's a little bit further back, but New England at 15, either Trey Lance or Justin Fields would be perfect. Understudies for Cam Newton. So you'd have to get a lot more in return, obviously. And I think the starting point for that New England trade is exactly what the 49ers just gave up, which is 3 firsts and a 3rd. You got to get at least that if you're going to move back to 15. And if you do move back to 15, that's when you start talking about J.C. Horn at cornerback. That would be a slam dunk, sprint to the podium, I think, if he's there.
And you're getting more picks too. You get more draft capital.
Oh, absolutely, you're getting a couple day 3s then, or a couple day 2s.
Day 2s. And then you may get a first round next year.
Oh no, you have to. You have to get 3 firsts if you're moving to 15 because you just saw the 49ers move from 12 to 3. So if you're moving back from 4 to 15,
you getting more. Yeah, that 4th pick now is highly valuable now. Like
you have to get the 15th overall pick. That's the one first, and then you have to get consecutive first-round picks the next 2 years in order to do that. If you don't, then you're staying put at 4, and you're taking either Sewell or you're taking Kyle Pitts, or hell, maybe you start talking Jamar Chase. But I think Pitts and Sewell are the two options.
Oh,
But somebody asked about, do you think about the guard from USC,
Yeah,
AVT?
He's a dog.
I love AVT.
crazy.
Elijah Vera Tucker. Oh
That's another
man,
one at 15. If you're moving back to 15, that's another name you're looking at. Absolutely.
people been sleeping on Elijah Vera Tucker, man.
I watched his pro day. His pro day was crazy. I think his broad jump was like 11 as a lineman. That's crazy. But I had one thing to say about Hennessy. I just want to know about his leadership. I don't know how being the center, you gotta call out stuff. I just want to know if he's able, if he's good enough to do that. Then I want him. I'll let him start. But having to call the mic out. I just want to know experience wise what he had. That's all. That's all. The only thing I want to know.
Wait.
As far as NFL level, it remains to be seen. But he did get some raving reviews while he was at Temple, especially from his leadership.
Yeah, he was a 3-year starter at Temple at center, so I think he has experience with protections and all that. When that pick was made, that was one of my favorite picks last year's draft. I thought getting him in the 3rd round, I thought they were going to have to take the 2nd round pick on him if they wanted him, and they got him in the 3rd. So, yeah, I would hate for them to, it become another Deidre Senat where they just, 3rd rounder and didn't use him.
We're not in the Dan Quinn Thomas and Dimitrov era no more, man. I really feel like the best player is going to actually play. They're going to see what they can get out of these rookies, man.
Hashtag Senat some damn
Yeah, I still think Hennessy's going to have, it's going to be his job to lose.
Yeah. So with Philadelphia trading down to Miami, I thought they could potentially take Kyle Pitts if the Falcons didn't. So does that mean that Kyle Pitts could become a trade down option?
Well, here's the thing about the Philly trading down. So I guess Schefter or one of the blue checks tweeted that they were looking at Zach Wilson, and I guess if they couldn't move up to 3, then they were going to move back. But there was also another report that said, they looked at Kyle Pitts at 6, but Atlanta has some interest in Kyle Pitts at 4. So if they couldn't get their quarterback and they're not going to get their consolation prize at tight end, maybe that means they know some more stuff, or that those rumors are getting stronger that, again, if Atlanta can't trade out, Kyle Pitts is going to be the guy, which, again, if Kyle Pitts is the guy, Arthur Smith loves using tight ends. He led the league last year in most 2 tight end formations. He was 3rd in 3 tight end formations. So even though they got Lee Smith, this doesn't rule out getting Kyle Pitts, because Arthur Smith loves using tight ends. He loves keeping defenses in base personnel, creating mismatches. And, man, if defenses are having to stay in base personnel and you have Kyle Pitts as one of the tight ends on the field, linebacker's not going to be able to keep up with him, and a DB is going to be too small. So
the idea, and this is what, at first I was kind of on the, I was up there with Eric Robinson about the idea of not drafting Kyle Pitts. But when I looked at more of the economic situation behind it, you got Calvin Ridley next year, his contract year, and then you also have, Hayden Hurst.
Yeah, all
both of those guys
agents after this season. So yeah, there's no tight ends under contract in 2022.
Exactly. So, and then you got Calvin Ridley too. So Falcons gonna have to make a decision on those guys. So you're not finna pay Hayden Hurst top money. You can, but does that make sense? And then you got Calvin Ridley, who pretty much is supposed to be the heir apparent unless Julio leaves. So the Falcons got to find a way to keep Calvin Ridley here if they want to do that. Yeah. All right. So the odd man that's going to be out is going to be Hayden Hurst. So the smart thing to replace Hurst is to get Kyle Pitts. That's just me. And for what the film I looked at and everything, yes, he does look like I don't want to say generational talent, because I hate throwing that around, but he does look like he can be a game changer in the league.
He's a unicorn, basically.
He's so scary to play.
Like,
Was that
I can get used to it.
That's going to make the Falcons fans that want a QB mad. So you're going to have to talk about it.
But that's not a
Look, I'm gonna be
priority.
honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care if we draft a kicker at 4. I'm looking at the quarterback.
There's not a priority for us. I don't think we don't need a quarterback. It's not like we need a quarterback. We're not the Panthers. Going to the draft, I think the Panthers might want to look at our pick if they want to go for a quarterback, even though they paid Teddy. I can see them wanting to go and maybe get Trey Lance.
They got to pay an extra tax, though, being an interdivision team. If they're going to deal with them. That's the thing. That's why I didn't throw their name out, because I don't know if the Falcons and the Panthers would do business, especially for a quarterback, Yeah. So that's why I think Broncos.
Yeah, you're not finna, help your division rival.
Yeah. That's why they were the biggest losers, I think, by this 49ers trade. So I mean, that's good for us as Falcons fans that Carolina missed an opportunity here to do business with the Dolphins for them to get in position. And with everything going on with Deshaun Watson, having to let that play out, because that was their big power play, I think, was to try to create cap space to make a play for Deshaun Watson. And now I think all Deshaun Watson trades are kind of off the table. So Panthers are sitting there in limbo, and they might have to settle on Mac Jones, which, in Carolina, I don't know if that works out the way that they would want. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think that this is but this draft, anything, I just don't want to draft a quarterback in 4. And I'll take Kyle Pitts if we take Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is scary because he can be a receiver. He's just too big. He's just more.
Yeah, they're going to be able to split him out wide again.
Yeah,
they're going to find
scary.
The matchup, and Arthur Smith is going to exploit it with Kyle Pitts, and it'll be a lot of fun. I think this offense can return to, averaging close to 30 points a game with Arthur Smith calling the shots, and the offensive line I think is going to be better, and the talent that they have. Mike Davis, again, Mike Davis has to be the bridge running back. He was up there amongst the league leaders in forced missed tackles per attempt, which, that's a sign of a good running back talent, is if you're able to make guys miss in the open field. Mike Davis did it at a high clip. So,
and think about this too. What if? Because I've been talking about Javonte Williams. We talking about Najee Harris, all these guys. What if we just, like Arthur Smith said, you know what? Let's bring in Mike Davis as a bridge running back, like you just said. And think about this. And Arthur Smith sitting at his table right now, sitting at his desk and saying, this guy, Quadre Olison, I want to see what we can do with this guy.
Yeah.
He'd be a feature back in this league.
Yeah. By having Mike Davis, it does give you a chance to really get a long look at Quadri, because, if it doesn't work out and Quadri doesn't make the most of his snaps, then, again, you fall back on Mike Davis. I think Ito Smith, in an outside zone scheme, he's still going to, get some touches and make the most of them. So they'd be okay if they kind of punt on running back and wait. I mean, I agree with what DaVonte said earlier. I think they're going to take one on day 3 at the very least. But they'd be okay if they punted on running back and didn't take Najee and didn't take Javonte. As much as I would like either of those guys, they'd be okay.
All I just said, most of our fans are going to be mad anyway if we don't draft the quarterback. I tell you this.
It's going to be a crazy day on Twitter.
No. We are going to go live during the draft.
Yeah, well, I know there's going to be a lot of live shows. And
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell y'all this.
Internet might break.
The Don says this, okay? If we don't draft a quarterback at 4, just know all these people that's been saying quarterback, Justin Fields this and all this, and y'all gonna have to end up reporting my account. I'm just letting y'all know, because I'm gonna be up to like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, just talking my stuff. I'm letting y'all know.
I believe it.
I got all my stuff drafted right now. Like all the jokes, I'm trolling everybody. Because I told y'all that this was not going to happen. It's not happening. We're not drafting a quarterback.
Marino.
Yeah. Man, I could get used to the idea of Kyle Pitts doing a Tony Gonzalez and throwing the ball over the post.
Yeah, I mean, I tweeted it the other day. It would be cool if Matt Ryan's, his career started with Tony Gonzalez, basically, Hall of Fame tight end, and then it ends with a guy that, most are saying if there's a Hall of Fame talent in this draft class, it might be Kyle Pitts. So that would be pretty cool, pretty special, and
it's like watching Julio Jones in like a tight end's body.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Jesus.
Just imagine practices. Just him, Julio, Calvin Ridley, just embarrassing, defenders just on the daily.
That defense better be top 2.
That would. I feel like Dion would have to go. I want to see Dion guard because
that would be fun to watch Dion.
I would want to see Dion versus Kyle Pitts 1-on-1,
Man,
over and over again.
I would pay to go to training camp just to see that.
Yes, I just want to see how he's gonna take him.
Where hopefully things are more relaxed, and fans are going to be invited to places season out, because that would be worth the price of admission, which I don't think there is admission, right, at practice.
It's not. It's free. It's free, but they changed. They changed. I heard that they're going to be changing up how they practice and stuff. Because I remember going there for the past few years. They got the music. It's pretty much like a block party there. But I remember when Mike Smith there was like none of that stuff was going on. So we'll see how things go, because they're going to really try to keep things very exclusive. Even for the media, like the scene has changed and they're not telling everybody everything. So, which is good. You don't want to give everybody your tricks. So, Soldier Gutter, man, look, man. Hey, I get what you're saying about Sewell. I want Sewell, but we just looking at other scenarios. Like anybody but a quarterback. Let's just keep it real. Anybody but a quarterback. That's gonna be the motto going from here on out. Anybody but a quarterback.
With that report coming out about the 49ers, that tells you that they're actually having conversations about moving down.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't like the specific picks and stuff that the 49ers are offering. But
we have to clear something up on that, because there's been people saying that the Falcons denied an offer from the 49ers, and I don't believe that's what happened at all. It was a matter of the 49ers wanted to see how high they could go. Mm-hmm. And the Dolphins were willing to do a deal, and the Dolphins were picking above us at 3. So that's how this all played out. It wasn't that the Falcons said no to the 49ers, do business with someone else. That wasn't it. It was that
3 is better. Look, it's math. Math is math. 3 is better than 4, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
that's how you need to go. Trust me.
I think the Falcons are willing to deal. It was just, the team picking above them also was willing to deal, and they moved out. So, again, I think trade down is still very much in play. And, again, the teams I think are most likely would be Broncos, would be Patriots, maybe the Lions. Although I think the Lions, I don't know if they're necessarily
we're forgetting about Washington, too.
Yeah.
Washington, yeah.
I guess Washington and Chicago as well. Like, both of those teams really do need to figure out long-term plays at quarterback. It's just they're picking so far back. They got to mortgage 3-4 drafts.
I don't care. I'll take it, too.
Y'all would take it, but is that actually how it's going to go down? I don't know. I think for Washington, they're probably hoping Mac Jones falls, because maybe they take Mac Jones and have him sit behind Fitzmagic. That's probably what their dream scenario might be. But yeah, I mean, they're definitely wild cards to move all the way up. It's just that's a far climb for them.
Like Atlanta Nation said, he talking about the fans, talking about they're going to be like, I'm done with this team, and then you watching us in September.
Yeah.
As usual, typical Falcons fans.
Yeah.
That's every year, man.
Yeah.
Man, I'm done with this team, man. I'm tired of this team.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see like what will happen in like the next week or so. Like, I feel like we might as well just be glued to Twitter all week, because I have a feeling that the Falcons could trade down the 4th pick and like at any time now, and shoot, it could be at 3 a.m. in the morning, and I wake up like we trade.
Yeah. That would be some tweet to wake up to. I mean, it rocked my world.
Right. Just think about this. Just fresh coffee in the morning, and I see that tweet come by. I'm like, oh, man. I got to call out. I need to take a sick day. Just let me go ahead and just post all these people.
All right, Falcons, I know you're all listening to this stream, but if you can just wait till after April 15th. I know they moved the tax deadline back, but I'm an accountant. Just please wait till after April 15th so that, I can do the same as the Don and take off work and just go crazy on Twitter if they do that. I mean, that's all I'm asking. Yeah, I'm going to be right there with you. I mean, I was there when they restructured his deal, calling out the haters. And again, that would just solidify it.
I took a nap before that, and I was like, and before the restructure, and I woke up, I was like, what just happened? I was like, oh shit.
I want to talk about this because, they restructured Deion's deal today and got $4 million. But the fact that they picked Matt first, because we all expect something to be done with Grady Jarrett at some point, right? The fact that they picked Matt first over Grady Jarrett and Deion Jones when they could have created the same amount of space that they created with the Matt restructure, that's telling. That's very telling to me, because they could have done with Julio and be like, this is a last resort type of thing. They didn't do that. So, I don't buy the reports that Terry had no choice or, anything of that nature. I think he did have a choice, and we'll see what they do the rest of free agency, because it's not over with, and there's still a lot of players out there that make sense. But the fact that they immediately went to Matt to do it, I think, again, they think they can still build around Matt, and Matt has a lot of football left in him. And
here's the thing: let's not be passive. I'm tired of being passive. All right, let's call a spade a spade. They targeted Matt and restructured Matt only for one reason: he's getting an extension. You're not finna sit here and pay this man all this money in the last year of his contract. They're gonna give this man like a 2 or 3 year extension onto it to open up more money.
Right. Yeah. Again, I think they're gonna play it like the Saints played it with Breeze.
Exactly.
Like the Steelers played it with Roethlisberger. Yeah, you're gonna see Matt play until he's 40. Because again, he said he wants to. He said he's still feeling well. And again, he says he still has a lot left in the tank. And again, film would agree with that. Again, he's still playing like a top 10 quarterback. And I think in this scheme, he can get back into the conversation of being a top 5, MVP level type Matt Ryan.
But here's the thing: we talked about his age, and you just we've been saying this too for a while now about he's still playing at a good level. But this is another thing people been saying. But we're not gonna be picking this high again.
I love that argument. Because when people say that, you're pretty much telling us that you think this team can turn it around.
Good. We're gonna be good.
Yeah, we're gonna be good. What y'all complaining about? And on top of that, let's keep it real. You can always trade up and down the draft.
That's what Kansas City did.
Kansas City did it. Houston did it.
Hell, we did it. We have the literal proof of that in Julio Jones.
Exactly. That's how y'all think we got Julio back in 2011.
Yeah.
We was a playoff team.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, everybody. So we can't take advantage of a new quarterback's contract until later if you just cut Matt Ryan post June 1st, which I think that's just idiotic to me.
Yeah, if you do that, you're looking at, year one, he's the rookie at 4 is automatically going to be sitting on the bench. He's not going to be playing if you draft a quarterback. So you're already wasting $6 million cap hit there. Then he'll play in year 2. But you have, like you said, a post-June 1 cut is the best option to save the most cap space for Matt Ryan. Well, first of all, if you're doing a post-June 1 cut, people have to know Matt Ryan's $48 million cap hit is going to sit on the books until June 2nd. So you're not getting any benefit there. When it comes off the books on June 2nd, then you have $23 million of dead cap money. So you have that $23 million plus the rookies $7.5 million. You have $30 million tied up in your quarterbacks when one of them's not even on your team anymore.
Right.
So it isn't until year 3, and even in year 3, Matt Ryan still would have $15 million of dead cap money because of the post-June 1. It's divided into 2 years. So you have $15 million plus like the $8 or $9 million of the rookie. You have $24-25 million of your rookie contract tied up in quarterbacks. Again, one of which is not on your team. So you're not even taking full advantage of the rookie wage scale that drafting rookie quarterbacks is supposed to give you. That's why for me,
Matt, you're the
down to that.
you're the king of narratives, man. I was told you're the king of narratives, man. You're always pushing your own narrative. You're going to save money if we cut that round.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. That's what people think I'm doing, but really,
Man, look, let me tell you about the people that said pushing narratives, but the said person that's saying that pushing narratives is the said person that said they had credible sources of Louis Riddick coming to Atlanta as a GM. Man, get off, man. Just get away from us with that bull, man.
Yeah. So again, it's always been a timing thing. Yes, the Falcons need to eventually find a successor to Matt Ryan, but now is not the time because of the finances of it, because Matt Ryan's still playing well.
And like this, the idea of cutting him post June 1st, it's just insulting in my opinion. Like just throwing him to the curb like that, not even like.
Well,
yeah.
And if the post June 1, that doesn't mean he can sign with someone else. It's just the accounting of it. His cap hit has to stay with the Falcons until June 2nd. So again, that money you'd be saving, you're not actually going to get to spend it until June 2nd when most of free agency is all dried up.
So, you already picked your draft picks and everything, so what's the purpose of cutting him in?
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
So you just desperate. You desperate need money or
your
whatever.
draft class a little bit, and then the rest of it, $10 million, you're just kind of sitting on. So again, it always came down to a timing thing. It has nothing to do with what I feel about Matt Ryan. I mean, again, I think Matt Ryan's the greatest Falcon, but again, it's all about the timing, the finances of it, and again, Matt Ryan's still playing well, and now he gets a coaching staff and a scheme that's going to suit his game.
Definitely.
Oh man, I forgot about. Hold on. It's a question on here. Wallace, he said, "What do y'all think about Jason Uwa from Penn State?" I think he's good. If we don't get Parsons, I think he'd be good fit here.
That was the guy I mentioned at the top. He's in the same boat with Parsons with me. I think he's more an athlete than a football player. And if Falcons are going to take a pass rusher, they need someone that knows how to pass rush. And I don't think that's Owa right now. He's a moldable ball of clay. And again, Falcons need impact pass rushers. Dante Fowler, he's getting paid like a 1. He might not even be a 2, but he's going to be on this roster. Thankfully, we got the pay cut out of him. Mm-hmm. But for me, if they're taking a pass rusher, it's Jalen Phillips or Azeez Ojulari. Those are the two, if they move back, that I would take. I think they're 1 and 2 in this class. I think they know how to rush the passer.
I think Russo would be a good pick too. He won't be that bad.
He's more on the raw side, but again, he's got that length that you certainly can't teach, and he's a guy that you can probably slide around the line of scrimmage rather than, the other two are just strictly edges. But Russo can be a guy you slide inside on nickel and feast with Jarrett. But
Wallace said, "Oh yeah, we traded up to get Mike Vick too." Everybody forgot about that because we picked 5th that year.
Man, I don't know.
I honestly think the Falcons fans are worried about the wrong Matt. We need to replace Matt Schaub right now because we only have one quarterback on the roster. So
and not like at 4.
No, I think anything. If we do take a quarterback, we take him more like a Sam Ehlinger or somebody like Kyle Trask,
Brady
somebody
White.
like that. I don't see us taking anybody. And these guys, I mean, this class isn't bad. I mean, a lot of guys got overshadowed. Trask was a Heisman candidate before, the whole Oklahoma game. So, I mean, having Pitts here would be pretty cool. But I don't know. If we had to take him later. I like Trask. I don't know why. I'm a Georgia fan. I shouldn't like him, but I kind of sort of like him as a backup. I don't like him as a starter, but I like him as a backup.
Here's the thing. Another person y'all need to look at is Brady White from Memphis. He's good. He'd be a good backup. Potentially could be a starter in the league if he falls into the hands of the right system.
Where do we think that Davis Mills from Stanford is going to go? Because he's that guy that people say is, the one that isn't in this top group isn't going to be a first rounder, but could potentially be a starter. And I've kind of compared him to Kirk Cousins, a guy that Kirk was drafted in round 4, and he's become a competent starter.
I'm glad you brought him.
Guy that I've circled.
I'm glad you brought him up. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. If he goes to a team like Baltimore or Las Vegas,
yeah, that could be interesting for them because I don't think they're sold on Derek Carr long term.
Yeah, that can be dangerous. I feel like he can if he go to Baltimore and perform like quarterback. I know a lot of Lamar Jackson fans gonna hate when I say this, but as far as the mechanics of actually being a quarterback and not just running the ball all the time, he has the potential to be a starter, to leapfrog over a starter already in the league and take that position.
Yeah, the reason Baltimore is kind of interesting is, again, with the Kirk Cousins comparisons. Kirk Cousins was behind Robert Griffin III in Washington. And, Lamar Jackson has some similar traits to Robert Griffin III, and then eventually he unfortunately got hurt, and Kirk Cousins kind of took over for him. So, yeah, that's not a team I would expect to take a quarterback, but if they did, I mean, that's what it would remind me of, is that situation like 10 or so years ago. But, yeah, I mean, if Davis Mills is in the 4th round, I'd consider it. I do think they're gonna look at a veteran though. Blaine Gabbert's still out there, and Blaine Gabbert was the guy that I thought that they would look at free agent quarterback. One, because Arthur Smith and him were together in 2018 in Tennessee, and then 2, kind of steal some trade secrets from the Super Bowl champ Tampa Bay Bucks. That's where Blaine Gabbert was most recently. Teams do that sometimes. So again, cheap veteran mint, quarterback, that you could, count on if God forbid you had to. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, Terry Fontenot said that, they're gonna take quarterbacks. He brought up Ron Wolf from Green Bay and how Ron Wolf's philosophy was, draft a quarterback every so often, which is a departure from the last regime, which only took one quarterback other than Matt Ryan, and that was Sean Renfree back in 2013, 7th rounder. So other than that, never really developmental quarterback. So we'll see if he backs up his word, and if again they don't take one at 4, they're going to take one maybe in the back half of the draft.
It's crazy how we took Matt Ryan's health for granted. He's only missed 2 games in 2 years.
People take a lot for granted about Matt Ryan, though. So, people take a lot for granted when it comes to Matt Ryan, which again, we'll see when he's gone. They'll learn.
It's almost as if we don't even need to draft backup. We can just start. I'm not saying we will, but it's crazy. I have that much confidence that he will play all 17 games.
Yeah, 17 now.
Hopefully all 20.
There you go. Love that energy.
20 now.
All right. So we're going to end the show here in a minute. But Ghost Peppers, you got a question. What are y'all thoughts on Patrick Johnson from Tulane? 6'3", 255. I watched a couple of games of him, and I read the scouting report on him as well. He's he's a project player, but he has a potential to be a good pass rusher in the league. Once again, if he goes to a team that can develop him, get him the right amount of reps. So, but to end the show, I want to say this to everybody that's out there who pretty much doing their mocks. Are people really doing mocks? I don't even know, because it's just right now. It's just all the emphasis has been on number 4 overall pick. Everybody just avoiding the fact of 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. And then we got comp picks, all that stuff. I've seen people mocks, and I'm like, they draft Justin Fields or they draft Trey Lance, and the rest of the mock is just trash. Yeah, I can tell ain't nobody did no research. They ain't watched no film. They ain't read no scouting reports. They just plug it in. One person did. Well, fam, I got you. I did a mock because I asked them, what y'all playing on defense? Because we have been horrible on defense for years, and everybody keep ignoring that. And somebody said, well, last year we was top 10 in defense. How? Top 10 in what type of defense?
What defense were we top 10? I don't even
That's,
remember.
that's what I'm trying to figure out.
We didn't have a good. I mean, we didn't have a good game. If everybody watched that Detroit Lions clip when Trey told Todd Gurley to fall because he knew the defense was not going to be able to stop that team. Like we knew how that game was going to go.
Was it like 84 seconds?
Yeah, like I don't know. People just be coming up with stuff at certain points and just I don't know where these like it's the same thing with sources. Like who are these sources you guys have? Like I don't know.
Arthur Smith.
I don't know. It's a lot of stuff. That
No,
the
source is. What'd you say, DaVonte?
It's Arthur Blank's son, obviously.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's what I meant. Arthur Blank. Too many Arthurs.
They hanging out with Arthur Blank's son.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Next. They ain't hanging out with nobody.
I've always said the fans' standards for a defense for Atlanta has always been low. as long as they don't give up like more than 30 points, it's a top 10 defense.
The bar is low, certainly.
We have yet to see a top 10 defense under the Matt Ryan era. I think you can make the argument for 2011 squad if you want to make that argument, but other than that, like it has not been the top 10 defense. So whoever's been saying that, can y'all stop lying to the fan base?
I think the ranking happened in 2017, but even when you look back on these teams, it's like they've never given him the defensive talent that he needs to succeed. The fact that we made the Super Bowl was because of a historic offense. That defense was ranked 27th.
Yeah, I think you got to look at if you're going to use one metric, DVOA I think is the best one to use. And
thank you.
2017, when people bring that one up because of the points per game, but don't look at the context of why they were top points per game. They literally gave up like 4-minute, 5-minute drives. They were one of the worst in time of possession defense.
Time of possession. Time of possession. We didn't get any turnovers, and then we gave up a lot of yards on the ground. So that's not a top 10 defense.
The defense caused the games to be shrunk, and the offense didn't have enough possessions. And then everyone put the blame on Sark because Sark didn't score enough points, but he didn't have enough opportunities with the ball because the defense couldn't get off the field.
Yeah,
people never apply context, and I get annoyed when people say 2017 was a top 10 defense because again, it's all about the metric you use, and I think DVOA is the best one to use to kind of.
That's the only one. That's the only one I use. I don't use the other stuff. PFF, like that's not good to measure a team's defense. I only use PFF if it's like individual player stats and stuff like that.
Remember, it did happen against Miami and Chicago where we were giving up a lot of yards on the ground. So that was the two games that really stood out the most as far as like time of possession.
Well, that Miami game, you're talking 2017, right?
Yeah.
That Miami game was like a carbon copy of the Super Bowl a little bit.
Exactly.
I actually wrote about it, but if you look at the drive charts in that second half and it all transpired, it was basically like the second half of that
carbon
Super Bowl.
copy. It was carbon copy of
there was a hold on Jake Matthews. It had everything, and it was just it was just like only Falcons, because then the following week, what did they have to do? They had to play New England in New England. Super Bowl rematch right before they just had, the Super Bowl 51 light game against Miami where they blew that lead, and it's just like, man.
As soon as Grady
you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. And
as soon as Grady Jarrett got that roughing the passer penalty, it was over. From there, I was pissed.
Yeah, he's had like 3 or 4 sacks taken away from him. I hope he used that in negotiations when they try to tell him like, hey, you only had this many sacks, like had 3 taken away from him from bogus roughing calls.
I mean, in that game, it was the right call. I was just pissed. Just at the wrong time because Deion Jones intercepted the ball, and then they scored a touchdown.
Yeah. All right. Hey, AT, I'm gonna talk about linebacker Milo Ifler later on this week when we do our draft prospect show. But we're about to end the show. I'm hungry. Late. So I gotta go. But anyway, thank y'all for joining us. Matt, once again, let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on. You can find me on Twitter at Matt Karoly, Karoly. Currently just tweeting out about Falcons, salary cap, free agency stuff. Just, I'm a free agent right now, enjoying coming on shows like this. I'm looking forward to the draft. Can't get here soon enough based on, all the discourse around it and just how divisive the fan base is. Hopefully,
it ain't gonna get no better.
Yeah.
Don't say it. This fan base
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And that's
only way the fan base is gonna get better if they move the team to another city.
Honestly, like being a Matt Ryan fan or being a Matt Ryan hater is like a religious denomination at this point.
Exactly. It's like Muslims versus Christians. That's what it is right now.
I mean, it's crazy. I would have never thought, again, MVP quarterback that has taken this team to, half the amount of playoff appearances that they've had in their history, would cause so much derision in the fan base.
Broken so many records and stuff, like done past Hall of Fame quarterbacks, but y'all still mad at this man. Like
it all started with 2007 with the whole Vic thing.
Like go be a Bears fan because the Bears have never had a quarterback.
They really haven't.
Go be a Bears fan if you think it's so bad being a Falcons fan with Matt Ryan as your quarterback. Go be a Bears fan.
Shout out to Andy Dawson.
Let's not even look. We're gonna go ahead because we'll be sitting up here talking for a whole other hour on this situation.
Go be a Bears fan.
Exactly. All right. TJ, Reddy, appreciate y'all joining us. Let everybody know where they can find y'all.
I'm at DeAndre's Burner on Twitter. I talk Hawks more than I talk Atlanta, but I'm everything Atlanta. So, I talk literally everything. I talk Hawks. I talk Falcons. I talk baseball. Anything it's just everything. Anything you think Atlanta wise, if you at Georgia Bulldogs, I don't talk tech. That's just not my cup of tea. That's just, But anything else Atlanta, I talk about. So, follow me at DeAndre's _burner.
All right, ready?
Yeah, so I'm at Abhi Reddy 2, ABHIREDDY 2 on Twitter, and I do talk mostly Falcons. Occasionally, I'll talk basketball. I can't get into baseball; it's just not my cup of tea. But and I try to deliver as much factual information as possible. And when it comes to salary cap, Matt Karoly is your guy, not me.
All right. Appreciate you coming on, man. Once again, man, my ace, DaVonte. Thank you for coming on, man, filling in for King.
Always will ready to come on. I'm always willing and able. And y'all can all find me at Cook About Nature on Twitter. I mostly talk about Georgia sports entirely, whether that's the Atlanta Dream. Yes, I respect women's sports. Yes, FILA SP respects women's sports. Georgia Sports Hospitality Media respects women's sports, and we all promote it. Just had to say that. Yes, Draymond Green. People actually watch the sport. Yes, that's a shot at Draymond Green. I don't care. But shout out to Matt for coming on the show, man. We always love hearing from you. And everybody, I hope you have a great night.
All right. That being said, hey, appreciate y'all joining the show. Also, for the people watching live, appreciate y'all tuning in, engaging with us. If you're watching this at a later time, hit us up in the comment section. Let us know what you think about the show. Well, let us know what you think about the Deion Jones restructure deal. And also, hey, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this content out with Atlanta Sports Fanatics. Hit us up in the comment section. As always, come holler at your hometown sports podcast. It's your boy, the greatest Don to ever live. I'll see y'all later. I will be back this Thursday talking about Kyle Pitts. All right. We'll be talking about Kyle Pitts this Thursday on Draft Prospects. See y'all then. Y'all have a great night. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace.